Jai Hind everyone. My name is Sateen Bhadoria and today we will be studying part 1 of the rise of nationalism in Europe. इस चैप्टर में मेनली हम देखेंगे कि हाउ द डिफरेंट ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल डाइवर्स ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल कम टुगेदर एज वन एंड दे फॉर्म द नेशन स्टेट. This chapter will be dealing with the countries in Europe like Britain, Germany, France, and many more. So let us start with the chapter. The chapter name is The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. What do you mean by nationalism? Nationalism simply means the feeling of patriotism to the country. And in this chapter, we will see how the people get united. When we see the image created by Frederick Sorio painted 4 images, and main first image is given here. In this image, you can see long queue of people are passing, are walking through the statue, which is the statue, you can say, the Statue of Liberty, and in her hand she's having the torch of enlightenment and the right of men of charter. At that time, there were only the talkings about the right of men, not of women. The long queues of people are seeing with the flags. At that time, you are seeing that Germany is not united at that time when the image was painted in 1848. But the utopian means that vision which was not true at that time. But later it became true that Germany unified, then Italy unified. Long queues of people are passing through the Statue of Liberty, and they're breaking this absolutist monarchies. Means the symbols you can see, these are the symbols of absolute monarchies. In his imagination, you can see Frederick Sorio has given different color of flags to different nations. Means he's showing that the people are moving towards the creation of nation state, and in the sky there are gods like Isa Mercy and many gods which are united to tell that the idea of fraternity should be there among all of them. Now, if we move, that Frederick Sorio created 4 images, and one was this image that was the pact between the nation. In this painting, there were 2 features which Frederick Sorio have shown, that the people are moving in long queues with the ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. There are shattered remains of absolutist government. Authoritarian government is shattered in the given image. In the given image, you can see that the people are having distinct flags, distinct identities, which means the people are moving towards the creation of nation state. Since the starting, I am saying nation state. But what do you mean by nation state? A nation state is a country, or you can say a country with a well defined boundaries, where the people share common history, common characteristic, common culture, or common ethnicity. But sometimes it may not be true, where diverse group of people come together. But to remember, the simple definition of nation state is one, there is a definite boundary where people share common culture, common history, and common ethnic characters. It is also supposed that government should be by the people, not by absolutism, and the people should have a right to work towards the development of the country. Now, the clear image of the revolution on the nation state, we get it from the revolution of 1789, which took place in France. This French revolution was taken place by overthrowing the Bourbon dynasty, which was ruling the France since many years. But uprooted by the common people of France, there was the establishment of a democratic and the republican government, and they adopted some ideas to bring the sense of collectiveness between the people. So, what they have adopted, let us discuss about these ideas. So, if we see, they have adopted the ideas of La Patrie and Le Citoyen. These are the words to categorize. For example, for India, we say India is our Bharat Mata. Same as they have called France as La Patrie, and Le Citoyen means the fatherland, and the citizen. the royal flag which was there, but the royal flag was changed to a French flag, which passes the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity. There was an East State General which was abolished, and a new State General was elected. There was a centralized administrative system. There Earlier there was diverse weight and measuring system. Everyone followed different system. But to unite the people, they have adopted centralized administrative system. There was the abolition of dues and custom duties. Means earlier the people had to pay a large amount of tax for the custom duties, but after the French Revolution there was an abolition of internal custom duties. Okay, but when the Jacobin clubs were formed, they were spreading the idea of French Revolution around the different countries of Europe. But soon after the revolution, there was an upliftment of a new monarch in France, who was Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte established the dictatorship in 1799, and it marked the rise of monarchy in France. Napoleon Bonaparte, though he was a dictator, but his administrative system was more efficient and more, you can say, smooth running system ever seen in the history of France, because he had adopted some features, he had adopted some rules and regulation which were described as a civil code of 1804, which are also described as Napoleonic code. In this Napoleonic code there were many features. For example, the privileges, earlier the privileges which were given to the first class and second class, means the clergy and the nobility, they were abolished. Means earlier there was what happening in the Bourbon dynasty, that in France there were three places, you can say, the people were characterized. But now what happened, all the people were equal and all were given the right to buy or sell anything. The transport and the communication system was improved. For any country to succeed the growth and to attain the development, there should be a proper smooth transport and communication system. Napoleon Bonaparte, as we have discussed, he established equality. Guild restrictions was removed. What do you understand by guild? See, guild means a group of people who are in the same profession, means who are doing the same work. For the guild of artisans, guild of people who are in the same businesses. So this is guild. So earlier there was guild restrictions, but now there was no guild restriction. In the Napoleonic Code, guild restrictions were removed. Right to property was given. Earlier the right was only with the first class and second class, but now the rights was also with the third class people. Third class means the people who were doing the slavery, or the some businessmen, or the merchants, or the artisans. There was the abolition of feudal system. Serfdom and manorial dues were also abolished. When these measures were adopted, the Napoleon Bonaparte started gaining power in different countries, and he was known as a child of French Revolution. The people were very you can say they were having many aspirations of having Napoleon Bonaparte as the king. They welcomed Napoleon Bonaparte with friendly gestures, but soon after the people became very hostile or very angry from Napoleon Bonaparte, because even though he has made his administrative system so smooth, but he had not given any rights to the people. He has imposed a strict censorship, and he has also established that. So as we have discussed, the people were welcoming the Napoleon Bonaparte, but soon after they became so much hostile, and because there were many things. For example, the French armies, they increased the taxation. The Napoleon Bonaparte increased the taxation. He imposed a strict censorship on the televisions or on the newspapers as well. Now, at that time, how the nationalism began in Europe? See, at the mid of 18th century, there was no nation state. Only there was a kingdom. Kingdom means there was a king who was ruling his empire. There was an example which was given to understand how the kingdoms was there in the system. The Habsburg Empire. Habsburg Empire, you can see a modern day Austria. In the Habsburg Empire, what happened is that there were many countries, but there was no proper system. There was diverse group of people. They don't share common language. There were many languages which were spoken at that time, and there was no uniformity between the people, no sense of collectiveness between the people. Because of that, there was lack of nationalism. But we can see the nationalism which was growing in the mid 18th century. But how this happened? Because of the emergence of new class, the new working class, they adopted the two main ideas. Let us understand about it. See, earlier there was only the two group of people. The aristocrats. The aristocrats were the rich people who were dominating class. They were less in numbers, and the peasantry. Peasantry, they were large in number, but they were very poor people. They don't have enough money. The wealth was accumulated in the aristocrats or the elites people, and but after the industrial revolution a new class emerged, and this new class supported the idea of equality and advocated about the nationalism, and this new class was given the working class name, or you can say the middle class, the new middle class. They were working in the factories and they were demanding for the rights. Okay, see, first they have started to think that about the ideas of liberalism. Liberalism is derived from the Latin word liber, which means free. So liberalism, what does liberalism means? Liberalism means an ideology which support the freedom of the people. And who were thinking about the freedom? The middle class was thinking about the freedom. So middle class was thinking about the idea of liberalism. For middle class, there was the freedom, there should be a freedom for individual, equality before law, all should be equal. Now in the political sense and the economical sense, what does liberalism means for the people, for the middle class? See, in the political sense, liberalism means that the government should be formed by the consent of the common people. There should be end of autocracy. Autocracy means direct rule should be ended. The rule should be by the people, for the people, to the people. And there were end of clerical privileges, means the clergy was given many privileges, so these privileges must be abolished. That was the demand of the middle class. There was should be a protection against the private property, means everyone should have the right to means take the loans or to have their own lands, and there should be proper protectiveness should be given to the private properties. In the economical sense, they wanted a market there should be free from any forces of government, because there should be private competition among the people, and there should be the restriction abolition of the restrictions on the movements of goods and capitals, means the people should have the rights to buy the goods as per their money income, as per their income source, and each state should have their own currency. See, as we have discussed that at that time there was no uniformity. There was an example which was given that from passing from Habsburg to the Nuremberg, there were 11 custom barriers which a merchant had to pass, and he had to pay different taxes as per their different currencies. And to pass this obstacle of economic exchange, there was a custom union which was formed by Persia, later joined by other countries in 1834, which was known as Zulverein. This union abolished the tariff barriers, and there were many currencies, 32 currencies, which were running in the system, economical system, but it reduced the currencies into two. And the network of railway stimulated, means the network of railway became more mobile and more durable, more to the friendly to the people. Okay, now a new conservatism after 1850. See, when we talked upon Napoleon Bonaparte, he started to give some freedom but there were many countries. See, when the administration became more good and there was a growth and a development of the country, the people of other parts of the Europe also wanted the end of conservative government, which had the mindset about that there should be a system which is going from earlier should go on, but the new system, the people wanted the new system. So the hierarchies which were there in the social orders or the property, they wanted to remove all that, and the people started to raise their voice. And there were many countries like Austria, Russia, Persia, and Britain, they do not want it, so they started the fight with Napoleon Bonaparte to defeat him. And this fight goes on, and in 1815 Napoleon Bonaparte get defeated in Waterloo. And then what happened, a conservative government was set up in France, and there was a meeting in Vienna, and this Vienna Congress, in this Vienna Congress, Metternich, when the conservative countries meet, they signed a treaty, the Treaty of Vienna, and this was hosted by Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. See, what were the effects of Treaty of Vienna? First, the Bourbon dynasty, which was removed from the power, again restored in the power to show that the conservative government regime is established. There was a setting up of new states in French boundaries, and the French boundaries, they were seized. New villages were set up on the boundaries so that there should be no expansion in the future by the French people in any part of the Europe. Thirdly, what happened? Russia gained new territories. It was Russia was given the part of Saxony and the part of Poland. Monarchy was restored, and Austria get control over the northern Italy. And see, Austria. We will also discuss about how they were released, how they were removed from the power, Austrian people from the Italy, and the conservative regime was also established. See, because of this conservative regime, there was many problems. See, there was censorship, which was strict censorship. At the time of Napoleon, there was censorship, but there was more harsh censorship which was there. And there was what happened, the revolutionaries, they were being arrested or killed. And the people who are in the administration, they were taping their mouths, they were not speaking anything against it. There was many secret societies which were being formed after the Treaty of Vienna, because openly no one can oppose the government. So one such revolutionary, we will talk about one such revolutionary who was Giuseppe Mazzini. He was an Italian revolutionary. He was a part of Carbonari, and he was born in Giona. It was in Italy, around the, you can say, Corsica island. And he was sent to exile. Means he was sent out of the country because he attempted a revolution in Liguria. And later he founded two societies, secret societies, Young Italy in Marseilles and Young Europe in Berlin. Mazzini believed that there should be unified Italy from kingdoms, and means there should be a unification of the Italy. Mazzini believed that Italy should be a single unified republic country without being a kingdoms or small king states, you can say. There was many secret societies in Germany, France as well, and Mazzini was described as a most dangerous enemy of social order by Metternich. Very important question from the MCQ point of view, that who described Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of social order? Metternich, means the Duke Metternich, who was an Austrian chancellor. Metternich described Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of the social order. Now, there were many revolutions, which means the age of revolution was there. There were many revolutions which were taking place. The Bourbon dynasty, which we talk about, that was being restored to power, but they attempted nothing for the development of the people. So there was a French Revolution in 1830, and this was known as July Revolution. And the second revolution took place in means after 1789. It was the second French Revolution, and this revolution led to the overthrow of Charles X, who was a Bourbon king. And there was the given the kingdom to Louis Philippe, who was the Duke of Orleans. Now, July Revolution marked a shift, means it was a shift of constitutional monarchy to the restored of House of Bourbon to another. Secondly, there was a replacement. Another replacement took place because Louis Philippe was also not doing the development. So people, means there was increased unemployment, inflation. So people start gathering on the roads of Paris and they revolt against the Louis Philippe, and they support the idea of republic. So they Louis Philippe ran away from the country. He flee away from the country, and there was an establishment of constitutional monarchy. Another king was given the power. Now, if we talk about Greece, Greece was a part of Ottoman Empire, and there was a Greek revolution which was taking place, and the struggle for revolutionary nationalism started in Europe in 1821, and soon after, the people started to fought against the Ottoman Empire because they do not wanted to be the part of larger kingdom, because there was no uniformity, there was no you can say sense of collectiveness among the people. So, one such example of poet is given in your book. It's your homework to see which poet name is given in the book. And after his death, there was a treaty which signed, means it was known as a cradle of civilization. And in 1832, a treaty was signed which was known as the Treaty of Constantinople, which recognized Greece as an independent state. Now, Romanticism. Romanticism is a feeling of oneness towards the country, towards the culture. Means the people is having a collectiveness, or you can say oneness towards the culture of the country through art, poetries, or nationalist ideas. See, culture is plays a major role in anything. And John Gottfried Herder, there were many philosophers who describe that without culture, if we have to see about the common culture, we have to see not the kingdoms, not the aristocrats, we have to see the ordinary people. And this culture played a major role in the revolution. Romanticism criticized reason and science, but they promoted the ideas of art, poetry, stories, folk arts. Means the common art which is, you can say, popularized in the common people. There was emotion, institution, and mythical feelings which were being encouraged. There was true spirit of nation which was being popularized, and the people were connected. At that time the illiteracy was more there, so people was unable to read and write. So they were connected by the feeling, by the songs, by the stories, folklores, you can say, and you can say that language was also a main thing to start the feeling of revolution. As I have given you example that the Poland was given to Russia. So what happened that the people of Poland was not having the feeling of oneness because they were being suppressed by the Russian people. The Russian language was imposed on Poland. The Polish language was not there. So what happened? The people start resisting to it. The priest take the prayer, means the prayers by the priest were in the Polish language, and the people started to revolt. But soon after, they were again being suppressed by Russian forces. The priests were some priests were jailed, some priests were sent to Siberian forest as well. Okay, now there was another revolution which was in 1848. What happened is an example, means when we see two examples, we have to also see the stories. In 1830s, what happened? The people in Europe, they were migrating to the urban settlements. There was slums being created. There was minimal jobs, and there was stiff competition. You can say cutthroat competition was there. And but what happened that the machine made goods which were being exported from England, they took the chances from the people who were making handmade things. And because of this, in 1848, people of Paris, they come on the road, and Louis Philippe flee up, as I told you earlier. This was the same story. And soon after, as a result, what happened in France? A national assembly was proclaimed, and it proclaimed France as republic. It granted the right to vote to all the men, not women, but all the men above 21, and right to work to the people. There was the establishment of the national workshops which gave the employment to the people. And there was an example in 1848, in 1845, and a revolt took place in Silesia. What happened? The contractor paid a very less amount as decided, and the small weavers, they started to protest in front of the house of the contractor, and they entered because they were very angry with the wages which were being paid, and they attacked on the house of the contractor, but the contractor flee to the nearest village, and the village people also denied to give any shelter to these people, means to the contractor and his family. So contractor, with the help of army, come back on the next day, and there were many means workers which attacked, and but the army shoot 11 means many workers, and in that workers 11 were shot dead. And because of this, means if we see that the movement was, rather it was being success or failed, but the feeling of nationalism, the feeling of nation state was being generated among the people, and they started to revolt for their rights. One such revolution was by the liberals. Liberals were the means this example is mainly related to Germany, but the liberal people wanted a system where there should be a constitution, the right of the people. So what happened that in 1848 the French monarchy was uprooted, and the liberal middle class, means liberal means middle class people, they were demanding for the constitution and unification of Germany, because at that time Germany was divided in many small kingdoms: Persian, Austria, Denmark. So the people was not happy. Large part of Germany was under the Persia. So they go to the, means first what happened, they started the revolt by with the peasant. But soon after, when they drafted the constitution in the Frankfurt, a parliament organized at the Church of Saint Paul, in this what happened, the women's were not given the right, only the men could be chosen, and the men drafted the constitution, only women were seen from the galleries of the church. And when they drafted the constitution, they took the constitution and handed over to William IV, the king of Persia. But the Persian king, with the help of army, suppressed them and took them out. But as I have told you, that when they were signing the constitution, when they were drafting the constitution, there was no right, there was no things which were related to women or the peasants, so they took back their support. And soon after, what happened, women starting their revolt for the vote rights, for their liberty, for the civil rights. And the conservative people started to feel, the conservative forces started to feel that the regime can be demolished if such forces are standing up. So they started to give some autonomy to the people by introducing some change. For example, serfdom and bonded labor was removed from the Habsburg Empire. So this was the part 1 which we have discussed, and we will discuss the next unification, the sense of collectiveness and nationalism in imperialism, in the next video. Till then, thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.